Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today we're back with another recommendation video and we are going to talk about survival thrillers and some books that I think you guys should read. Now, some of these are on the more popular side, so I'm sure you probably have heard of these. Some of these maybe you have not heard of and hopefully I can convince you guys to pick these up. But anytime I think of like the summer and the winter time specifically, I am thinking about survival thrillers. Of course, in the wintertime, there are a lot of people like in these isolated places in the cold weather trying to fight to survive. And then in the summertime, you have people like on vacations and on these tropical beaches, islands, and they're also trying to fight to survive. So all of the books that I am going to talk about today give more of like a summery vibe, kind of. There won't be any like survival thrillers where there is snow involved. So basically, these are books that I will recommend to you guys that will be perfect for the warmer weather that is approaching. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first few books I'm going to talk about are books that I have recently talked about. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them here. But the first one that I'm going to talk about, this was in another recommendation video that I just did where I was talking about 5 books that you guys should read. This was one of them, and I will never stop recommending this book because not enough people talk about it. So this is The Ascent by Adam Plantinga. And in this one, we're following this ex-cop who finds himself going to prison. We're also following a governor's daughter who is on a tour of said prison. And while they're both in this prison at the same time, the security system fails. So all of the locks are disabled. And everybody, including this ex-cop, including the daughter, they are trying to fight to survive. The only way they can survive is try to get cell signal at the top of this prison outside. And so each level of the prison, the prisoners basically are worse. Like their offenses get worse and worse the higher you go. This was a good time. Very graphic with the violence, so be careful picking this one up. But if you are looking for a really intense, fast-paced thriller that starts from page 1, I would suggest you pick this up. The next one we have, which I also think is just right on time for the warmer weather, we have What We Did to Survive by Megan Lally. This is young adult, and in this one, we're following these group of friends. So we have 2 best friends, one of their brothers, this random guy, and the captain of a boat. They have found themselves on a boat in the middle of a storm that they knew was approaching, but they were out there nonetheless. There is some chaos that takes place on this boat. And so because of that, it's unfortunate they're left without a captain. And so now 4 people are fighting to survive. This is also another one that is super fast paced. If you like stories that take place on boats or people trying to survive on a boat, this would be a good one for you. I will also say that towards the end of this book, there is a nice little twist that I think people will enjoy. I really enjoyed the twist. I did not see the twist coming. This isn't a book where I was expecting any twists at all. So I was really surprised by it. And there's also like a touch of romance, just a little bit, just a little smidge. So if you like romance in your thrillers, then I think you will like this one as well. Another one that I've recently talked about, one that everybody has been talking about, and one that I would agree is a book that you guys should pick up if you have not picked it up already. This is Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. So in this, we are following these 2 women who decide to go cave diving. Not something I would ever do, but they really enjoy it. Well, one of them really enjoys it because she's like an influencer that does this kind of thing. And then she's just bringing her friend along for the ride. And so right before they go into this cave, they have this like really strange encounter with this man who they later learn has followed them into this cave. And of course, they are fighting to survive. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this, while I've said I would never be in a cave, I felt like I was in the cave right along with these 2 girls. Taylor Adams did a fantastic job of making you really feel like you are in the thick of things with these characters. I also liked that not only are we following these girls in the cave, but we also are getting some flashback scenes. There are a few little twists in here as well that I did not see coming, and I think this is a good time. If you have not picked up anything by Taylor Adams, I would say this is probably a really good place to start. Next up, now this is a book that I have not spoken about in a long time, and I think this is perfect for a good survival thriller. This is 5 Survive by Holly Jackson, and y'all know Holly Jackson is my girl. So in this one, we are following 5 friends. They are on spring break and they decide to take an RV out into the wilderness. While they are on this RV, there's a sniper out in the woods trying to take them out. There was like a radio or a walkie-talkie that was left somewhere on the RV. One of the friends finds the walkie-talkie, and that's how they are able to communicate with this sniper that's out there. And this sniper is requesting for them to do certain things, to reveal certain things, because there is a reason why the sniper is after them. And so I thought this was another really fun one. Again, I don't hear a lot of people talking about this one, but I was on the edge of my seat when I was reading this. Now, had this been me and my friends, I think this would have been a really short story, because there's no way I'm going to be trapped on an RV. I'm going to have to risk it all out there trying to run away from the sniper, then allowing the sniper to potentially just shoot me in the RV. But that is neither here nor there. Like I said, I enjoyed this one. There are lots of secrets that are revealed. We all know I love a secret. And if you guys love secrets, you will also enjoy this as well. This is not one of Holly Jackson's, I think, more popular books, but this is one that I would highly recommend. And I do have a standalone review for this one. So if you want more of my inside thoughts, I will have that video linked down below. So the next 2 books that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about them together because they kind of have the same situation, but like 2 different plots. And this is an author that I think you guys are probably familiar with. So we have Falling and Drowning by TJ Newman. I think Falling is about to be made into a movie, I believe. But this is their first book. This is their second book. And then there is a third book that I have not read yet called Worst Case Scenario that also deals with a plane. So in this one, we are primarily focused on the pilot. And right before their flight takes off, the pilot finds out that this person has kidnapped their family. And the kidnapper tells them that in order for your family to remain alive, then you must kill everybody on board this plane. So you can only imagine chaos ensues from there. Not only are we following like the pilot, we're also following the kidnapper. We're following some of the stewardesses on the plane. This was a fun time. I will say, when I picked this up, I was actually reading it on a plane, and I got a really funny look from the flight attendant when she looked over and happened to see what I was reading. If looks could kill, I think she would have killed me. But I had a fun time with this one. And so in Drowning, we are following, again, a ton of different characters. And this one focuses, instead of just like one character really, is focusing on a bunch of them. And this one is about this plane that immediately, like after takeoff, it goes down, and it goes down in the Pacific Ocean. And these passengers have like minutes before like the plane is going to fully submerge in the water and they're going to drown. The one thing that I will say that is a little bit different about Drowning than Falling is it gets very like technical and science heavy with like the water and the water pressure and what happens if it gets fully immersed and how long they can go without oxygen and all of that. So if you are really into that, you will really enjoy this one. I had a fun time with both of these, although the idea of being on a plane and it just crashing or has the potential to crash is terrifying. So to me, these are like horror books, but I enjoyed them nonetheless, and I cannot wait to read their other one. But if you are looking for a good survival thriller, I think these will be like classic survival thrillers to check out. Next up, we have Such Quiet Girls by Noelle Eiley, I think is how we're going to say this one. I actually did a video going over this one and another book in like a true crime video that I did, because this book is actually based off of a real life true crime case. So in this one, we are following our main character, Jessa, and she is like a new bus driver. And I think she's like taking the kids to like an after school program, but nonetheless, they are en route to this program, and they are stopped on like this side street by these masked men. These masked men transport these kids and the bus driver off the bus into a van that has like blacked out windows, and they are taken to an undisclosed location, and they are told to get down into a hole. And now this bus driver has to look after these kids, and also they have to figure out a way out of this hole. I was not necessarily shocked by anything that happened, because again, I'm very familiar with the case that this is based off of. But we not only follow like the bus driver, we're also following the kidnappers, we're following a couple of the kids, and we're also following the mother of one of the children. Well, the mother of two of the children, because they're sisters. This was my first introduction into this author, and I definitely want to check out something else from them. But if you are into like abduction stories, this one will be a good one for you. Trying to survive in a hole, I just couldn't see it, but this was good. The next one, I think everybody is probably familiar with, The Passengers by John Mars. This was the second book that I read from this author, and it did not disappoint. This is another one that I would feel like it's more of like a horror story, because this could happen at any time, especially in this day and age with technology. But this is about these people, different people from different backgrounds, different walks of life, and they are trapped in these self-driving cars. And each like character is in a different car. And if my memory serves me correctly, I haven't read this for a while, but if my memory serves me correctly, at a certain point, all of these cars are going to crash together. And so these people are basically fighting to survive. There's a lot of action in this. A lot is going on. We get some background into like these cars and like the people that are controlling them. But what I really liked about this survival thriller is that we learn a lot about the characters and kind of like what led them to their situations. This was a good one. Like I said, most of you guys probably have already read this, or at least are familiar with it. If you have not picked it up, I hope you check it out. So the next one that I am going to recommend you guys as a good survival thriller that takes place on like this island, I believe it's like an isolated island. It's not a book that a lot of people have enjoyed, but I really enjoyed it. And I think it's a good time if you manage your expectations going in. So the book that I'm talking about is Close Your Eyes and Count to 10 by Lisa Unger. And I think the premise of this is kind of funny, because it's like an extreme game of hide and seek. And so this mother, I think she's like recently separated from her husband, and she's kind of like down on her luck with like money, but she's an influencer. And so she joins this like extreme sports group, and one of the things that they're doing is they're paying people money to go and play in this extreme hide and seek game. And so we're kind of getting like these flashbacks between the game and the present, and we're following the mother as she's going into the games, and then we're also following the creators of the games. There is a lot going on in this story. At the core of it, yes, these characters are trying to survive. We know that in like a previous game, somebody died, and so there's like some negativity around the creators of this like extreme sports game. We're kind of seeing everything, so it's not just focused on like the game itself, but it's kind of focused on all these different pieces, especially like the behind the scenes of how the games were put together and what happened at a past one. So if that's not really your thing and you want just specifically the hide and seek game, that's not what you're going to get. But if you just like a well-rounded story where you get different pieces, I would suggest you pick this one up. I had a good time with it. It surprised me. I liked it better than I was expecting to, and I liked how everything came together, and it is a good survival thriller, especially for the summertime. Now, Ruth Ware. I'm gonna say she is a hit or miss with me. I never really know if I'm gonna like her books going into them, but this one was a pleasant surprise. So this is a One Perfect Couple. It is another one that also takes place on an island. So we're following this couple. I think the girlfriend is like a scientist, but like her job really isn't going anywhere. And then like her boyfriend is trying to get into like the acting game, and he is invited to go on this new reality show called One Perfect Couple, and she agrees to go with him. Now, when they get out there, everything seems fine. They meet the other couples. They're told, you know, what the reality show is going to be about. But of course, things happen. There's a storm. People are fighting to survive. Now, when I first picked this up, I had the wrong expectations. I don't know. I thought that this was going to be about somebody trying to like murder them. That's not what this is. This is literally people on this island trying to survive and get off. If you are truly into survival thrillers, you will definitely get that in this one. I loved where the story ended up going. I actually really enjoyed the story once I really got a grasp of what was actually happening. I liked that we really got to see the lengths people will go to survive, and I would have to agree with some of them. So I really enjoyed this one by Ruth Ware. If you are kind of like Ruth Ware is a hit or miss author for you as well, I would say check this one out. Another one that I don't see a lot of people talking about, and it is also another young adult, we have You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. And I thought the premise of this one was actually pretty cool. So this one deals with these kids on this summer camp. And so this particular camp has a specific theme. And what they do is they reenact certain scenes from slasher movies. And so people who come to this camp to stay, they are a part of these recreations. However, one particular night, things get a little real. People are actually starting to die. And so these people that are at this camp are now trying to survive. And we are specifically following one of the camp counselors and her journey to stay alive. This one was a lot better than I was expecting. This is my first book by this author, and I didn't really know what to expect. I had somebody recommend this to me, and I'm so happy that they did, because this was actually a fun time. If you are into slasher movies, this is one that I would highly recommend. And again, if you are into survival thrillers, watching these kids try to survive this killer was something. So I would definitely check this out. Now, this last one that I have to talk about, I would consider this a survival thriller. I'm not sure if everybody else would categorize it as that, but to me, I'm gonna do it. So I'm pretty sure everybody is familiar with escape rooms. You've probably seen the movie The Escape Room, where there was also a book. So in this one, we're following these 4 people who work at the same company in finance. And like finance on Wall Street is like a cutthroat job, apparently. Well, that's what I keep hearing. And these people are like at the top of their game. And so they are all invited to participate in this like escape room game as part of team building, but it does not go to plan. And this story kind of turns into like a revenge plot. But for me, I feel like this is really a game of survival, because not everybody makes it. And once they realize that this game is pretty serious, they are literally trying to solve these riddles so that they can survive. To me, that screams survival thriller. If you have not, or if you have seen the movie, I would check this out. I have been in an escape room. I have also been in an escape room as part of like team building. I don't even know who thought that was a good idea. It gets cutthroat, but nobody has ever died. But in this one, some people make it out, some people don't. This is a book by Megan Golden that I would highly recommend, and I think you guys would enjoy it. So those are all of the survivor thrillers that I wanted to recommend to you guys that I think will be perfect for the upcoming warmer weather. So if you have read any of these, please let me know your thoughts down below. If you have any survival thrillers that you think will be perfect for the summertime, please leave those recommendations down below. Any of the books that I have that are featured in specific videos, I will also have those linked down below in case you guys want to check those out. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.